Can I tell you a story about this, which I won't name who it was, but a good friend of mine, this was before I was a Dominican, the two of us made a pilgrimage. It was actually more than two of us, but the two of us were together, made a pilgrimage to Rome. It was in the Jubilee year of 2000. And I had just, like I'd been returning to the faith and taking it more seriously, and this priest had told me, yeah, you know, you can ask St. Anthony to find you a parking place. And so I tried it, you know, just before we went to Rome, and it worked. You know, I got a parking place like right in front of the place I was going. So we're walking around Rome, and I was telling this story to the group, you know, that we're walking around with. And this buddy of mine says, you know, listen, I believe in the saints, but I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, they have better things to do than to get me a parking place. And like, he was just like dismissive of the idea. So then for the rest of the day, you know, he was saying like, hey, you know, I want a gelato. Tell St. Anthony that, you know, that he needs to get me a gelato, and kind of making fun of it. Yeah. Okay, so the next morning he came down to breakfast, and I had known him for a long time, and we had talked many times about the fact that like he wouldn't remember his dreams, and he was always kind of jealous of people who'd remember their dreams. So he came down to breakfast and he said, "You will not believe what happened to me. I had a dream last night, and in my dream, St. Anthony came up to me, and it wasn't like a dream, it was like he was really there. And he said to me, 'The saints are your friends in heaven, and we love to do good things for you.
Wow.
So if you ask me, I will even get you a parking place.'" And this was like a real change in my friend's life. But I love that story because, you know, I really think, well, this is another friend of mine once said to me, you know, I ask God for the big things, but I'm not going to bother him with the small things. And I think that's actually exactly the wrong approach, because with a friend, you do not only call your friend when you need help moving out of your apartment, you know? Like, that's a big ask. You develop a friendship by asking each other for small favors. And like, that's a sign of friendship, that you ask somebody for a small favor. You know, like, hey, can you just pick something up for me, you know, whatever.
I actually am honored by it.
Yeah, no,
when
that's
people
right.
ask me to do things, because I want to bless them.
That's right. So I think our relationship with God and with the saints is very much the same, and that he wants us to ask him for small things. Now, big things too, of course, but small things. And so it's right to ask God for all the little things, which might be trivial little things, like a parking place or even something smaller. Like, you want little helps, but that's part of the point. Rely on God more and more, and he will show you that he is hearing you and present and helping you. And that's like how you live your life, like with God, more and more profoundly.
Yeah, I'm thinking of 1 Peter 5:7. Peter doesn't say, cast only your serious anxieties upon him.
Right.
He says, cast all of them. And maybe one of the reasons your advice is going to be so helpful to people is because we're meant to live in constant communion with the Lord. I'm thinking of that.